What if I told you that an old, dirty, 1976 Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar, the kind that might have been sitting in a dusty drawer for decades, thrown there after summer road trips, or forgotten in the bottom of a jar filled with spare change? To most people, it's just an old coin. To serious collectors and treasure hunters, it's a potential ticket to massive payoff, because somewhere among these seemingly ordinary dollars are rare varieties and error coins that can command real money at auction money. This story begins in 1976, a year of celebration unlike any other in modern American history. The United States was marking its 200th birthday 2 centuries since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and the nation was caught up in a wave of patriotism and pride. From parades to fireworks, everything seemed to reflect the spirit of a country celebrating its birth. And the U.S. Mint got in on the act by issuing special coins for the bicentennial, including a unique Eisenhower dollar that would forever be linked to this once-in-a-lifetime commemoration. At first glance, the standard Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar may not look like much. Millions were struck for circulation, and most are common today. But here's where things get wild. Buried within the millions of coins created were rare error varieties and anomalies, coins with mistakes so unusual that they have become the stuff of legend among numismatists. These aren't just coins with a bit of wear. They're coins that tell a story of minting mistakes, quality control anomalies, and striking oddities that make them highly desirable. Some of these rare Bicentennial Eisenhower errors can fetch huge sums at auction, hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases, tens of thousands of dollars. So what makes these coins special? The answer lies in the very process of how coins are made. At the Mint, billions of coins pass through the striking presses. The planchet's blank metal discs are fed, dies strike the images, and coins are ejected. This process is highly automated, but sometimes mistakes happen. Dies wear or shift, planchets are improper, blanks are struck off-center, or errors known as doubled dies occur, where the image appears as if it was struck more than once. These errors are rare, and rare equals value. Among the 1976 Bicentennial dollars, there are several known error and variety categories that collectors clamor for. Some of the most sought after include double die obverse and double die reverse varieties, where the lettering or design elements appear doubled under magnification. Others include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the planchet wasn't properly aligned under the die. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin looks like a bite was taken out of it. Broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal size because the retaining collar was absent, and wrong planchet errors, where a coin is struck on metal not intended for that denomination. Each of these error types transforms a regular Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar into something rare and collectible. One of the most mysterious and talked about varieties is the double die obverse 1976 Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar. On this error, the doubling is so subtle that most people won't notice it with the naked eye. But under a magnifier or loupe, the duplication of the letters and details of Liberty's torch become evident, almost like a shadow image press-printed next to the proper design. These subtle double dies were produced when the die itself was incorrectly manufactured. The result was a coin that, while circulated like any other, carries a striking anomaly that collectors hunt for. Why are these mysterious double dies so valuable? It's simple: scarcity and demand. Only a tiny fraction of the millions of Bicentennial dollars display these errors, and only those that are well preserved command high prices. Add in sharp detail and strong eye appeal, and you've got a coin that serious collectors will fight over. At auction, choice examples of rare double die Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars have brought prices far above face value, hundreds, thousands, and sometimes more when the coin is particularly dramatic and authenticated by a top grading company. Another fascinating error category is off-center strikes. These occur when the planchet doesn't properly seat under the die before the coin is struck, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. The degree of off-centerness varies, and the more dramatic the offset, the more collectible the coin. Some off-center Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars look like a crescent moon of metal was cut from them, with only halves or partial images visible. These dramatic coins can be breathtaking to look at, and high-quality, strongly off-center examples have been known to bring excellent prices at auction, sometimes into the thousands of dollars. Equally compelling are broad strike errors, where the retaining collar fails and the planchet spreads outward more than it should. These coins appear slightly larger and have soft or missing rims. To the untrained eye, they might just look a bit odd, but to experts, these are valuable testaments to minting anomalies. In well-struck broad strike examples, collectors see artistic appeal and rarity and are willing to pay accordingly. Then there are wrong planchet errors, some of the most dramatic anomalies of all. These happen when a planchet intended for one type of coin is inadvertently used for another. Imagine a Bicentennial Eisenhower Dollar struck on a planchet meant for a $50 or even a foreign coin. These coins can be truly bizarre in appearance and incredibly scarce. The rarity drives intense competitive bidding, and prices can climb rapidly, often into the five-figure range for the most dramatic and authenticated specimens. But before any of these extraordinary values come into play, you have to know how to identify them. That's where skill and patience earn rewards. Start by looking at your coin with good lighting and a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. The first things to check are the lettering and design elements, particularly the date, the wording Liberty, and the Eagle or Independence Hall details. On a doubled die, you'll see ghost-like doubling of letters and design edges, not just smudging, but clear secondary images offset from the original. These doubled lines are distinct and repeat across the same elements, not random like bag marks or scratches. For off-center errors, you'll notice missing portions of the design and an uneven rim. The greater the degree of off-center shift, the more visually dramatic and collectible the coin. A 5% off-center might be interesting, but a 30% or 40% off-center strike is the kind of coin that stops collectors mid-scroll online and ignites bidding wars. Broad strike coins are identified by a missing or weak rim and a slight enlargement of the coin's diameter. They'll look flatter and broader than a normal dollar, and sometimes the design details will appear stretched. For wrong planchet errors, the coin may look odd in color or metal composition, for example, significantly lighter or darker than normal, or with unusual luster. These often require authentication because planchet errors can be subtle and complex. Another exciting mystery involves coins with die cracks or clad lamination errors, where the metal layers of the coin separate slightly, creating raised lines or blisters on the surface. Some collectors believe that certain types of lamination errors on Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars are underappreciated gems waiting to be discovered in long boxes or change rolls. Now let's talk about value. Real, jaw-dropping value. While the vast majority of circulated 1976 Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars are worth just face value or a few dollars in worn condition, rare error examples can soar far beyond. For example, a well-documented double-die variety in highly collectible condition has been known to bring hundreds to thousands of dollars at auction. In mid-grade collectible grades, some examples have cracked the $2,000 to $5,000 range, especially when authenticated by major grading services like PCGS or NGC. More dramatic errors, like major off-center strikes or rare wrong planchet anomalies, have been known to fetch five-figure prices, with some serious collectors paying $10,000, $15,000, or more for the right piece. In exceptional cases where provenance and extreme rarity intersect, there are whispers in the collecting community about six-figure potential values, particularly for combinations of errors or unique specimens that defy categorization. Auction records tell the real story of fascination and value. At major numismatic auctions, rare Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars have caused bidding wars, with collectors pushing prices higher than expected. In several instances, coins previously tucked away in collections were brought to auction and sold for far above estimates, surprising both sellers and buyers. These results fuel the legend that even an old, dirty Eisenhower dollar found in pocket change might be hiding enormous value.